if I was to give my younger self a one-to-one guitar lesson, first lesson, day one, some open chords. This is how to read a chord diagram. This is how to read tab. Here's a way to visualize the fretboard, C major scale, 3 note per string, and 1 finger exercise. So kind of 3 things. 1 guitar lesson, 3 things to take away and work on. Some open chords, practice same. This is how to read diagrams and tab. Practice the scale and the finger exercise. Okay? But for me to make video after video, trying to raise these 3 notes at one time, I don't have the processing power. So instead, I'm going to make a series of videos focused on harmony first, then how to visualize the fretboard, and then technique. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to look at this wee box here. We're going to zoom into this box and look inside it. And this wee box maybe represents maybe about 12 guitar lessons. 12 guitar lessons in one video. But I'm not going to cover everything. As I said in my introduction, I'm not going to cover how to read tab and chord diagrams, and I'm just going to give it a template. Here's something that we can all work towards. Just an overall template. I hope that makes sense. So why don't you zoom into this box? I'll see you on the other side. Frank Gambale said when he can see that a guitar player is struggling, he can zoom in to the playing, and usually he can detect the issue, and the issue is they don't have a deep understanding of the foundations. So Frank gives an analogy. We want to build a skyscraper, the Burj Khalifa. That is a crane. Frank says you're not going to start building up on the 12th floor. You've got your land, you want to build a big skyscraper, you've got your crane, let's start on the 12th floor. Guess what's going to happen? All the bricks are going to fall to the ground, He says instead, what you want to do to build a skyscraper is you want to dig deep down, build a big ditch, build your foundations, make your foundations to build a big skyscraper. I'm going to make a wee point about that, right? I agree with Frank Gambale. If you want to specialise in a genre of music, or you really want to understand some type of style, you're ready to move up, you know what you want to do, you want to be a jazz fusion guitar player, You know what you want. This camera's moving. The camera was adjusting by itself. So pretty much wherever you are on your journey today, if you know, you want to be a jazz burner and, be a great, be the next Alan Holdsworth and stuff, then yeah, sure, start here. Learn about the major scale, how to build triads, and I think that camera's moving again. So yeah, if you know what you want to be, and you want to hyper specialise in a specific area, sure. Start from the foundations, start from the major scale, learn about intervals and how to build chords and maybe the harmonic series too. That's kind of the ground level. But I would argue the major scale is the ground level. But anyway, I'm going to suggest something a bit different. I agree with Frank Gambale, by the way. However, I think maybe 97% of guitar players should start on the ground floor. Start here. We don't need big foundations to start on the ground floor. I would argue, when I got my first guitar and I was eager to learn all my favourite songs, if somebody said to me, well, let's talk about triads, that guitar is sold the next day, I think most guitar players just want to start ASAP, let's get playing songs. Victor Wooten said something along the lines of play first and learn later. Let's start on the ground floor. Basic open chords. We don't need to know why A is different than A minor. It doesn't matter why D is different than D minor. It doesn't matter. Let's just learn the shapes. Learn the shapes, learn the chords, learn some songs. Let's start there. If you want to build a skyscraper, you can build a skyscraper later. Start on the ground floor, go up on the second floor. If you want to go up on the third floor, well, that's you wanting to specialise. And that's when you can dig deep. Here are 7 basic open chords. C, A, G, E, and D. A minor, E minor, and D minor. 7 basic chords, okay? I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to practice them. If this was a one-to-one guitar lesson, I would be demonstrating how to read a chord diagram and how to read tab. And also I'll be discussing ways to visualise the fretboard and some finger exercises, but bear in mind, this is a series is about harmony, okay? So let's talk about these 3 tips. Tip number 1. Tip number 1. You have your chord diagrams there. You've got your tab, right hand. Mute the strings. Choose one of these chords. Maybe E minor is the easiest because it involves 2 fingers. Sit with the guitar, put your left hand on your knee, look at the fretboard, look at your chord diagram, and try to raise your hand up and finger the chord. Put your hand back down on your knee, come back up, and continue doing so for maybe a minute, maybe 2 minutes, and you're done for today. It's hard. It really is hard. It's hard for everybody, okay? As time goes on, it will get easier. When it starts to get a bit easier, instead of going all the way down to your knee, maybe go halfway. E minor, C minor. Up and down, and up and down. Just for a minute or two. Practice this maybe 2-3 times a week. Time will pass and it will get easier, okay? Eventually, you will be able to do E minor, and when you're kind of there, you can kind of draw, baby draw. I can do it now. Practice it, you know? And do that with all the chords, you know? Maybe the second tip I'll give you, or we're still on our first tip, is that as a good way to practice is that just imagine you've got 2 chords down now. Hand is still on the strings. E minor, G. E minor, G. You know, you can practice all the chords. Focus on the left hand, isolate the left hand. You're talking 1 minute, 2 minutes a day, just to practice to isolate the left hand. And a wee extra tip, next time you're watching your favourite episode of the Game of Thrones, mute the strings, you're watching your favourite episode, who says that you can't practice your chords quietly? Tip number 2. Here is something that I would recommend. Left hand, mute the strings. Buy the softest plectrum that you can buy. This is not one of them. It has some stiffness to it, but you want one that's just like paper, because this is hard, okay? Mute the strings, left hand. Get the strings here, and just practice. Mute the strings, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And do that for maybe 1 minute a day, 2 minutes a day, 2, 3, and count 1, 2, 3, 4. Do that 2 or 3 minutes a day, and eventually, when you've got burnt into your system this idea of counting 4s, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can finger the chords, you can then do it with the chords. So maybe C. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, change chord, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is tip number 3. We are so blessed that we have access to free backing tracks, drum tracks on YouTube and stuff. It's incredible. Here's something that I would recommend. This is an app that I use. I'll show you a screenshot just now. bear in mind, if this was a one-to-one guitar lesson, we are weeks into this and you've been practicing for the past 3 or 4 weeks, I'm going to push play and show you what I would ask you to practice. One, two, three. Go to A. And I would ask you to practice that 2 or 3 minutes a day. Keep it boring. Backing track with 2 chords. You can even create the same backing track with 1 chord. C. 1, 2, 3. And for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, just practice that. Same chord, and then you can use the program to choose different chords, maybe E major, E major, just an E, and D minor. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and so on. So I think you get that. So that's my tip number 3 for open chords. Tip number 1, we were isolating to practice with left hand. Tip number 2, we were isolating to play quarter notes on the whole notes, whole notes on the, was it quarter notes? 1, 2, 3, 4. We were isolating quarter notes on the right hand. And tip number 3, download a backing track. You can play, you can even use a drum track or a metronome and bring the tempo down slower. But this is a guideline to get your hands moving, working together. You can mix and match G and A minor, G, D minor, A, then C. You can mix and match it. Rhythm is the most important thing about music. They do say melody's king, but without rhythm you have no melody. So we have looked at the quarter note in the previous section. So we looked at 1, 2, 3, 4. Beat 1. Beat 2, beat 3, beat 4. Get out a metronome, play a drum track, set a timer for 2 or 3 minutes, and practice this 2 or 3 times a week. One, 2, 3, 4. You can even play chords. G. 1, 2, 3, 4. Change chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you can mute 1, 2, 3, 4. We can double the speed. We are playing downstrokes. 1, 2, 3, 4. But on the way back up, we can strum the strings as well. Downstroke, on the way back up. So if we were to play along with this drum track, down, up, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So these wee stem thingies will look like this now. We've doubled it. This second stem gets the and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So practice that 2 or 3 minutes a day. Practice that. Now we can double that again, and that will give us 16th notes. So let's focus on 1 and. We add in a stem here, we add in an extra one. That stem is called an E, that stem is called an A. Let's do the same here. That's called an E. That's called an A. E, extension, A, background, E, hey, hey, and A. So what does that sound like? 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A. Set a metronome, stick on the drum track, 60 beats a minute. Set a timer 2 or 3 minutes, practice 2 or 3 times a week. To make it easy, mute the strings. And if that's too hard, if that's too fast, turn off the metronome, turn off the drum track, just practice really slow. 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E, 4 E and A. You know what I love about this? I've missed something out. I love it. That's what 16th notes look like. My apologies. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Next time you're watching one of your favourite TV shows, maybe the Game of Thrones, mute the strings. If a show lasts for about 50 minutes, there's 50 minutes worth of free practice for you. Let's look at 2 more. This next one, I think it's known as the gallop, and it's found in songs such as Pink Floyd's Run Like Hell and the Rocky song Eye of the Tiger. And all we do here is we take out the E. No more E's. There you go. Take out that stem as well. And it looks like that. Let's do the same with the rest of them. No more E's. So what we have here is 1, miss the E, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a dum, 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 dum. And again, to practice this, set metronome, put it on the drum track, or even don't use a drum track, or don't use a metronome, and play it slow. 1 and 2 and a 4, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. Play it a lot slower. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Now let's look at triplets. Each beat gets 3 notes. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. It looks like this. Imagine we zoom into one of these there. Okay, let's make it bigger. Okay, 3. Let's take away that 3 to make some room, to make some space. First beat, 1 trip, let. That's how you count triplets. So beat 1 would be 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. On the guitar, mute the strings. Your hand is going to go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. That's how you play triplets. I'll give you a tip though. Everything that we've discussed in this section can be played on 1 string. So let's choose the E string, E. Let's focus on the quarter notes, and we can do it slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do 8th notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we can do 16th notes. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. We can do the gallop. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. And we can do triplets. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. Bear in mind with the single string, I'm still doing down, up, down. Then the second beat, up, down, up. Then the third beat, down, up, down. And the fourth beat, up, down, up. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. So up to now, we've looked at 7 basic open chords. We've looked at some rhythm patterns that we can use, and bear in mind, weeks are passing, we're practicing this one-to-one guitar lessons. This is an overview, kind of template to, you know. So over the course of maybe 12 guitar lessons, we go through all the step by step. Also learn how to read chord charts and chord diagrams and stuff. But also we want to learn songs using these chords. We can play these chords, we've practiced them. We can play these 7 chords, we can have our 2 hands work together, we can play with a backing track. Now let's learn some songs, okay? So here's what I would recommend. 3 songs in the key of G. Knocking on Heaven's Door by Bob Dylan, When I Come Around by Green Day, and Love Me Do by the Beatles. In the key of A, 3 Little Birds by Bob Marley, All Shook Up by Elvis Presley, and The Wild Thing, I think that was the Krogs, not sure offhand. Bad Moon Rising, CCR, I think. Mr. Tambourine Man, amazing spelling, Bob Dylan, and Dead Flowers by the Rolling Stones. Now, here's what I would recommend, right? Knocking on Heaven's Door. Emma Barty's going to die. Bloody fantastic. I'll just keep going. So here's what I would suggest to you, right? If something's too difficult, half it, half it, half it. Half it, okay? You just half it. I'm going to take you through what I would show somebody over 12 guitar lessons, step by step, okay? Let's take Knock on Heaven's Door. Starts off with G. All these songs in the key of G use these chords: C, D, E minor, and G. Okay. E minor, C, D, and C. This looks hard, it looks complicated, but it's not your first guitar lesson. Weeks are passing mind, yeah. So anyway, I would create a backing track with the backing track app that I showed you, and I'll just get the person to maybe listen to the song, right? But we're not going to play along with the song. We can play the backing track, or just play a drum track. Drum track. Remember, half it, okay? So let's isolate one chord progression in the Bob Dylan song, Knock on Heaven's Door, okay? G to D, E minor, G, D, C. Let's do quarter notes. Let's try these eighth notes. Now that might seem too hard. So there's a few ways that we can make this easier. We can slow the drum track down, we can slow it right down. We can make the progression a bit easier too. Let's cut out these two bars here. And let's just loop these two bars. Let's just make it easy. That might be too hard. Cool. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to half it. Let's get rid of this A minor. Let's move this D to the second bar. Okay, half it. Now let's try it. Just look at it. So notice what I've done here. I've looked at one of these songs. If I was given one-to-one guitar lessons, we would spend time with these in 9 songs. And we say, right, let's look at a progression. Is that too hard? Then let's half it. Let's break it right down, okay? And as time goes on, when you get better, both hands are working together, you can finger chords faster, that all comes together. I'll put a wee red marker next to when I come around, because that song is tuned in E flat. That's something that's going to come up. Some albums that you love, some songs that you love might be tuned down half a step. So if you were wanting to play that song along with the album, unfortunately it's tuned in E flat. You might need to retune your guitar. But in the meantime, you can still play along with the song with a backing track or a drum track. When I come around, I would teach us the same way as with Heaven's Door. So the song is 4 chords. If that was too hard, you just half it, and you half it, and you half it. Love Me Do, I would do the same thing. In the key of A, we've got the Elvis Presley song, All Shook Up. That uses a capo on the first fret. I've introduced that song because it uses a capo. And that's something that you'll need to work with. But the key thing is it just uses, I think it's A, D and E. These 3 shapes, 3 major chord shapes. Awesome. Key of D, Bad Moon Rising, D, A and E. 3 chords, you know. So that's just an overview, a template over 12 guitar lessons. I've missed out a lot of detail, and I do appreciate I could have spent more time in this area and went through more details. I just wanted to give an overview. This is a template. In 12 guitar lessons time, you're going to know 12 songs. You're going to know your open chords. You're going to be able to play them. You're going to know how to practice them. You're going to know how to learn a song. You don't sit with a song and learn the whole thing at one time. You just break it down, break it down, break it down. As time goes on, you're going to come across the same patterns, the same chord progressions again and again and again. And it gets easier. And you'll be able to pick up things a lot faster as well. Stick with it. This is just an overview, a template, 9 songs. Get the basics down. You have a nice day. Thank you for watching this video. I can appreciate that a person could say this was supposed to be a template. You could have just told us, learn your open chords, learn some easy strum patterns, and learn some songs. And that would have been a 5-second video. You know, cool. 5 seconds, learn these 3 things, goodbye, you know. There are things in that video, in this video, that I wish someone showed me 30 years ago. Excuse me. 30 years ago. Here's some tips on how to practice, and also what to practice. What to practice and how to practice. So that ends this wee box on my board. So I'm going to say goodbye, and I'll let you guys zoom back out into reality. I hope you guys enjoyed this small box here. I've covered a lot of stuff, maybe 12 lessons worth, 7 lessons, 12 lessons, you know. So that covers open chords. Stay tuned, because next time we're going to zoom into this wee box.